Mosab, I'm going to start with you. And the first question is, how should Israel and its allies address Qatar's double role in hosting Hamas leaders while presenting itself as a global partner?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you are not bored to death.
Now we're not.
Okay, sounds good. I don't want to add to the boredom. I wouldn't be comfortable sitting in a room where so many politicians, ambassadors, especially European ambassadors, coming to tell us what to do. I heard some crazy stories. Is it only Qatar playing the double game?
Oh no, the whole global world, but I'm now talking specifically about Qatar because now with everything that's happening and the fact that they are hosting Hamas and at the same time they are sort of presenting themselves as partners in peace talks and trying to bring back the hostages. How do you see that?
So basically they are the arsonists who start the fire, then pose as the firefighters. They create the problem so they can provide the solution. This is how they get their significance. They're buying everything. They manage somehow to buy the World Cup. This is Qatar. It's a corrupt monarchy, you call it, that is sucking Earth's natural resources and weaponizing such things against the globe. They are competing with Israel. Qatar is competing with Israel, but not by creation, by buying. Mm-hmm. And this is their game. They don't care. I said this from the early beginning of the war. In fact, I said this from day one. I said, assassinate Hamas leaders on the Qatari soil. Millions of people watched it. Everybody was critical of it. It was too much, right? Now it came too late, a couple of years later. And it looks like we missed this time. Hopefully next time we won't miss. As long as they host Hamas there, Hamas leaders, and I know some of them personally, very dangerous people who orchestrated October 7th, who destabilized not only the region, but the globe. They should not be sitting and feeling immune to assassination. At least now they know that it's coming and it's near. For Qatar, let them do whatever they want to do. They are responsible. They are complicit. They are partners in the crime. And in my opinion, not only Hamas should be punished, also Qatar somehow should be punished for being complicit with terrorists who orchestrated October 7 massacre that led to the destruction of Gaza as well.
So you say that behind scenes they were supporting Hamas all along and then played being partners in trying to get back the hostages?
I mean, obviously. I think there is no one in this room who disagree with this. This is the reality of the Qatar involvement. But of course, their money, when they have such influence, this is what is called in Islam financial jihad. The Muslims, and listen to this, it's very, very important to understand, so to see the dynamic of the Muslim play. There is physical jihad. This is the jihad by the means of the sword. But also there is financial jihad. And this is what Qatar, Saudi Arabia is doing. And there is jihad by word. Those who cannot fight physically, cannot fight financially, they are required by Islam, by the Quran, to fight by word. And this is the social media campaign coming from Pakistan, coming from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from every Muslim country, demonizing and defaming Israel worldwide. And don't forget the state-sponsored bots, that they're about 30% of that control the social media, and no government can stop them. And all of them working around the clock to spread hate against the Jewish people. Qatar is at the epicenter of this problem. It's jihad, and we need to see it for what it is.
And how do we solve this problem? With all their money, isn't that a bit almost impossible?
Look, you cannot buy everything with money. And I don't think Israel should be intimidated by the Qatari influence. Because sooner or later, this financial jihad that we're talking about will backfire. It's just a matter of time. I want to see all the compromised Western leaders today bowing to the mosque, bowing to the Arabian desert idols, submitting to the 7th century mentality and to the Middle Eastern savagery. I want to see how far they're going to go in this game before they hit a dead end and their own people would say no. Because Qatar can buy compromised politicians, but I don't think Qatar can buy or trade the Israeli spirit.
One last question about that. Trump being close to Qatar now in different relations, do you think he really knows the real truth? Is he just playing a game?
This one, I really don't know.
I don't think anyone has an answer for that one. Mosab, you've commented in the past that the Palestinian Authority is more dangerous than Hamas. Why is that in your view?
They are all part of Palestinianism, which calibrates in falsehood by all standards. Take for example, on October 7, Hamas opened war or declared war on Israel. On October 8th, you expect from the peace partner that came back to the territories on terms of good faith and peacemaking, trying to find a solution, a common ground where the people can coexist with each other. Instead of condemning Hamas, they declared war on Israel. Few days later, the Muslim world declared war on the Jewish people. And today we are dealing with the consequences of the evil work of the Palestinian Authority. Their propaganda machine. This is not Hamas work. Their delegations, their ambassadors, they have been working around the clock to defame Israel. Prior to October 7, they funded and they empowered the BDS like a witch hunt, chasing Israel in every global or international arena. Well, that created a generation of indoctrinated, rigid Palestinians who also have American citizenships, who also have European citizenships. So they paved the way. They prepared the climate, the ground, to breed hate against Israel. When October 7, it was only the trigger that jihadists did. But the Palestinian Authority paddled the wave. And this is why I say the Palestinian Authority is dangerous. My opinion, my humble opinion, as someone who used to believe that I was born Palestinian, but nobody ever told me why. So I went on believing Up to just recently, by the way. I didn't mind if people called me Palestinian. I used to take it lightly. But after studying the history and seeing the impact of the Palestinian delusion, Palestinian hateful indoctrination, the victim mentality that is based on self-inflicted trauma, blaming Israel and blaming the rest of the world. This is a very, very dangerous mentality. This is not the American spirit that I know. And this is, at least in nationality, I'm an American. I'm very good friends with Israel and the Jewish people, and it's all about resilience. It's about survival. It's about the good fight. And what's so-called Palestinians? They are not ethnicity. They are not a nationality. The only thing that they have in common is their self-inflicted catastrophe as outcome of their poor decisions. This is the only bond that brings them together. It's not a Bible. It's not blood. And now they are posing everywhere in the world as they are the indigenous of the land, while they choose a colonial entity, Palestine, as their national identity. The most pathetic thing. You tell them what makes you a Palestinian, they don't know. They did not even invent the name Palestine. So this is why we need to go. This is what I've been doing since the beginning of the war, to deconstruct the very foundation of their narrative. Palestine, anything affiliated with Palestinianism. So now you want to call it PLO, you want to call it Hamas, you want to call it Islamic Jihad, it doesn't matter. Today, and we are dealing not only with Hamas in Gaza, we are dealing with this violent, hateful movement worldwide. We have a new generation of Palestinians, just like Arafat, who had nothing to do with what he called Palestine, or the land of Israel. Egyptian con artists. And today we have zillions of them. It's like he clowned an entire generation. We are dealing, by the way, with the outcome of Yasser Arafat and the PLO work today. It's echoing, and we are dealing with the consequences. So, to underestimate the role of the Palestinian Authority and the crimes that they have been committing is a big mistake.
Thank you, Mosab.
I cannot speak English as good as Dan does. But it's the same spirit, you know, we see it. And the Palestine is a very dangerous trigger. Very dangerous trigger. It's, I described it at the beginning as a black hole that could swallow everything. And now people invited this victimhood. It's a very dangerous mentality. And now it's taken over Europe. People protesting. And all those who have failed in life, projecting their hatred on the Jewish people. The most productive minority out there. It's like literally choking their own lifeline. And they just want to applaud the angry mob. And the movement is growing. So they invited now Palestine to their backyard. It is going to fire back at some point. My expectations, a civil war at some point in Europe. Because now the people are waking up that it actually, the Palestinian cause revealed the amount of influence, Islamic, Arab, communist influence in capitalist countries. Now the indigenous of the land are waking up and they realize, why do we have hundreds of thousands of people protesting in London every weekend? Every weekend since the beginning of the war. This is about 2 years almost. In Ramallah, nobody's protesting. In Riyadh, nobody is protesting. No one is protesting in the Arab world. Only in London, only in Europe, only in the United States. So this is now is giving people an idea of what's happening. But this is dangerous also because the counter force is going to lead eventually to a clash between these two forces. Indigenous of the land and economical migrants who don't appreciate or accept the values and ethics of the Western civilization. The same problem that Israel is dealing with right now. Gaza and also the West Bank. And I don't want to go farther. I keep it for later. So this is the reality, and at some point they will have to realize that separation is a necessity. And if they don't separate, then the clash will continue for eternity.
And Mosab, as a U.S. citizen, how do you see America after the murder of Charlie Kirk, and what is the future for the country?
Well, I answered part of this question in my previous answer. I had to leave the United States 6 months ago. And in fact, I have been on the move. I don't want to say my entire life, but at least I had some downtime where I was able to sit in one location for a few months without being assaulted or harassed or chased by maniacs who don't actually know who I am. And today, it looks like I cannot even stay in one city for more than a few days. So this has been the reality on campuses. It was very, very ugly, especially the first year of war. And I saw it coming. I saw it coming. It was a very, very dangerous place. So what happened to Charlie Kirk is not, I was not surprised. In fact, I'm afraid that things are going to roll towards. The divide is huge. The divide is huge. We have the communists and Islamists, two opposing forces, and now they are pairing. And their goal is to change the world order. They are aiming at the United States. They are using the social media, and the United States looks useless, incapable of stopping this flood coming from the East to sabotage the American social fabric, to divide the country, and to work on the differences. And by the way, Palestine as a trigger has worked for them very well in the last 2 years. And now they're still manipulating. Even some of them accuse Israel or the Mossad of assassinating Charlie. And people believe in all these conspiracy theories. The situation is very dangerous. The truth is buried. People are not concerned of truth. It doesn't matter how much we tell them that what's happening in Gaza is a crime committed by Hamas when they weaponize civilians for global sympathy, and most importantly, to delegitimize Israel. And they succeeded. But nobody is willing to listen now because they took sides. And now it's very hard for them to take a step back and say, we apologize, we were wrong. They are so egoistic to admit that they are irrelevant to the conflict, and they are playing only as useful idiots who have been fanning the flames of conflict, and children on both sides have been paying the price. They don't want to humble themselves for a moment, and I'm talking about celebrities, influencers, clout seekers. Everybody's profiting from the conflict. So why do they want it to end? So this is the reality of the United States. And if they underestimate, I said, and I say again, outlaw everything affiliated Palestine. The PLO was a terrorist organization just a couple of decades ago. Do it again. This is what I want from my country. I don't want anything Palestinian. I don't want to see keffiyehs. I don't want to see Palestinian flags on the American streets. When I left Ramallah and the darkness of such society, a death culture, a rape culture, does not respect women, cancels women, want to kill all the Jews, triumphs when a suicide bombing attacks hit Jerusalem or Tel Aviv. It was a triumph for the people of Ramallah, for the people of Gaza. I left this sick society and migrated into the unknown, not driven by any desire that America would give me. I just needed my freedom. I left all my comfort, all my security behind me. And when I now arrive to the United States, I have pro-Palestine Palestinians, a new generation of self-righteous Palestinians who never been to Palestine, who don't know that Palestine never existed, and they are stealing my freedom. How am I supposed to feel about this? And who do I to complain to? The President of the United States? The Congress? The police? I just leave it to God.
Wow. You almost answered one of my last questions, which was you risked your life and for your mission and for your beliefs. And now I can hear that your personal price that you're paying is that you don't feel safe anywhere. Is there a place, do you feel safer in Israel? I know you care a lot about this country.
Well, your emergency conference today brought me from the beach. I was laying on the sand an hour before
We're
this
sorry to bother you.
tense conversation, surrounded by beauty and crystal clear waters and beautiful sun. Look, I made a choice long time ago. You know, this is not the first time I'm taking risk. I like to take risk, by the way. I enjoy taking risk. But at least, you know, when you know that you're risking your life for people who at least appreciate. You know, not in the United States, my country. You know, I'm being criminalized right now. Being accused of treason for stopping suicide bombing attacks from targeting civilians who killed Americans, who killed Jews, who killed all type of people. This is a moral decay. So what type of country I am fighting for? You know what? I became homeless again. And yes, I had to move to Israel thinking that Israel is the safest place. Something that I did not consider. The option was available many years ago. When the Shin Bet offered me citizenship what was it, 8 years ago. I said, no, I don't want dual citizenship. I'm happy and it's enough to pay taxes in one country. This was basically my idea. And I refused. And I just also, I know the people here admire me very much, and I love my privacy. But unfortunately, there is no safe place left on earth. And if you don't see it now, sooner or later you're going to see it. Because you can hide your Jewish symbols. I cannot. I cannot hide my face. I'm not willing to hide myself. It's a promise. This is my freedom. And even if it means that they're going to kill me, they can only kill my body. I said this many times. So now the reality. Sooner or later you realize this problem. I come even to Jerusalem. Everywhere I look, I'm sorry to say, but Arabs. You know, I am an Arab. I'm not ashamed of my ethnicity. But the problem, these are Arabs who have been indoctrinated on the religion of Palestine. And to them I am a traitor. And they are the righteous ones. So they want me dead. So even Jerusalem, where I'm supposed to feel safe, I don't feel safe. So today I am on the beach, and the bombing from Gaza, I was able to hear it. And by the way, it's raining like hellfire. And maybe they deserve it. Because, in my opinion, we need to finish with Gaza. It's not only Hamas. And I take responsibility for my words, and the politicians will lie to you. I don't. Gaza is a breeding ground is a breeding ground. Finish with Hamas today, tomorrow is going to be a different group. And by the way, the different groups, if they are communists, they are a lot more dangerous than jihadists. I promise you that. And maybe now the new generation of Palestinians says like, okay, Hamas screwed up. Look at the cause. It's global now. They are a giant movement with endorsement from everywhere, Hollywood, everywhere. They've got support. They can adapt easily to communist or socialist ideology, and they can become easily the new Nazis. And they need the breeding ground. And this must be demolished to ground zero. Has nothing to do with ethnic cleansing. This is a humanitarian displacement of the people who have been hijacked, not only by Hamas, by Palestinianism. And in order to deal with the Palestinian indoctrination, the Palestinian ideology, regardless of its color, whether if it's green or red, is to remove the breeding ground in Gaza and in the West Bank of what's known as refugee camps. All of them must be demolished to ground zero. These are the breeding grounds of terrorism. Then after that, if the Arabs wake up from their drunken and realize their true ethnicity, their true identity, then maybe there would be bridges built. But if they insist on being Palestinians, a hostile movement or entity to the state of Israel, I think Israel should not drop the fight until this score settled. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being us here today, Dan, Mosab, and hopefully you'll feel peace very, very soon, and we all should.
I am peaceful. The fact that my life is in danger doesn't mean that I am not at peace. That was not what I was trying to say. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's 2025. America's debt is over $37 trillion, and the dollar just had its worst crash since 1973. That puts your savings and your family's future at risk. That's why we trust Alpha Omega Gold, a company that stands unapologetically with Israel and supports Stand Tall Israel. Visit ao.gold/stand to claim your free precious metals wayfinder guide or call 1-855-426-4653 today. Protect your future before it's too late.